Hello, everybody. This year we have a special event, Erev Pesah, that falls out on Shabbat. So instead of trying to write the halachot, I figured this video will help explain a little bit better what the options are for that day. In reality, there are two options that one could do in order to fulfill the mitzvah of lechem mishneh, of having bread for both the Friday night meal and the Shabbat morning meal. We'll go through each of the options, and it's your opportunity to choose one of the two options in order to satisfy the halacha. Keep in mind that we're going to do B'dikat Hametz on Thursday night, and we're going to do Biur Hametz on Friday. Thursday night, B'dikat Hametz is a beracha, and then again, Biur Hametz on Friday. However, that doesn't mean that the prohibition of Hametz actually begins. The prohibition of eating Hametz only begins on 10:20 on Shabbat day. Therefore, 10:20 a.m. of Shabbat day. Therefore, we could keep some bread left over after the bidikah, and this will really give a lead into option number one. Option number one says leave enough bread of hamotzi for your Friday night meal and for your Shabbat morning meal. Your Shabbat morning meal, the hamotzi part of the Shabbat morning meal, needs to be completed by 10:20 a.m. and then you can continue eating food for your meal throughout the rest of the day. You could even have pray first minyan. You could come home. You could have some bread and cheese or whatever it may be, and say Birkat Hamazon. That's your Shabbat morning meal, and then have a regular lunch later on around 12:30, 1 o'clock, whenever it may be, of Kasher Pesach foods, and that could even count as your Seudah Shilishit. What are the drawbacks of this method if it sounds simple enough? A couple of things. Number one, if you have leftover bread, you're going to have to make sure to get rid of it. How do you get rid of it? Break it up into small pieces, flush it down the toilet is one option. That's really the preferred method in order to get rid of the hametz. You're going to have to make sure to sweep the floors well to get rid of any crumbs. And additionally, you're going to be having to use either your hametz plates on Friday night and Shabbat morning when you're eating the bread, or alternatively, and perhaps more simply, to be using plastic plates in order to get rid of any of the things. You should then, instead of keeping the hametz crumbs in your garbage can, you should then really try to take that garbage, put it outside in some way. If you could deposit it in a non-Jewish neighbor's garbage can, wonderful. But if not, really take the garbage and really get it off your property or into at least the municipal garbage cans, in which we all have in our driveways, because otherwise they won't pick up the garbage. So we don't own them. The township actually owns them, so that's very good. We'll put our garbage in there in order to make sure that we don't have the crumbs in our possession on the holiday of Pesach at 10:20, or even a little bit after. We'll say the Kal Hamira, and therefore we'll relinquish ownership of any hametz. So that's the option A. It could be a simple option, and that it does involve praying early on Shabbat morning and being really careful about where the hametz is going throughout Shabbat. A second option is a little bit easier because we're going to avoid hametz completely. And on Friday night, you're going to enter Friday night. You're not going to have hametz in the house. You did the bidikah, you did biur hametz on Friday. You got rid of all your hametz. And on Friday night, you could eat regular matzah. And you say birkat hamotzi on it because you no longer have any bread in your possession. On Shabbat morning, you cannot eat regular matzah because it's Erev Pesach. We want to make sure we don't allow matzah that day until you enter Motzei Shabbat, the night of the Seder, and only then you could eat the matzah of the mitzvah. So therefore, we're going to have to be a little bit more complicated. You're going to have to take the matzah on Friday and either fry it or boil it. You could boil it in soup, take a stack of the machine matzahs, put it in the soup, let it stay there for about 10 minutes, acquire the taste of the matzah, or fry it in a frying pan. The idea being we want to change the taste of the matzah, but yet at the same time still keep it whole, so we could say birkat hamotzi on it as well. So that's the method. That's the second method. It's a little bit easier of getting rid of hametz. You don't need to wake up early. You could have lunch at a regular time, and that way you can successfully fulfill the mitzvah of lechem mishneh on Shabbat for Seudah Shilishit. If you're eating it before the 10th hour, hypothetically, you could do the same. Or a lot of people just use egg matzah for Seudah Shilishit to have a little bit of mizunot and maybe a little bit of ha'etz and not have bread for Seudah Shalishit in order to, because according to everybody, you definitely can't have actual bread. You can't have matzah, and before the 10th, if you're not eating before the 10th hour of the day, then you're going to run into problems of having a meal too close to the Seder. So we're going to try to either choose one of these two options of keeping some bread left over, of or using matzah Friday night and boiled or fried matzah Shabbat morning in order to be ready for Shabbat, and then we'll enter the Seder proper according to halacha, and B'ezrat Hashem we'll all have a wonderful holiday together. Amen.